What's going on, people? Welcome to the United Stand. Well, oh my days, welcome to match day road trip. Like, it doesn't even feel real saying that. And do you know what, in a weird way it's been so long, but in a weird way it's kind of come so quick, because I didn't think we'd get back in, get fans in towards the end of the season. I didn't think it would happen. So buzzing. Man United versus Fulham today. Little bit of transfer news to do as well, but I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat, honestly, because I'm just gassed to be going to a game, man. It feels surreal. Like, I've actually forgotten that feeling. Like, you know, when they say you take things for granted, and there's people who have been going for, you know, 20, 30, however many years, and never get bored of that feeling of going into Old Trafford. But I must admit, you do forget that feeling, or that feeling in your belly or inside of when you're going up to the game, knowing you're going to go to Old Trafford. Like, I actually have that back again. Which is mad, because obviously the more you go and it becomes a regular thing, the novelty kind of wears off, although you still love going. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, we are on our way up. The weather's doing a bit of a madness. It's saying it wants to rain, and it's saying it's sunny, then it's whatever. But I don't care. It could have been snowing today. I still would have been there. So I'm gonna get up to Old Trafford. Be interesting to see what it's like as well, like, you know, the setup of how you get in as well. So that's interesting as well. But let's get straight into it, man. On the road trip, Harry Kane, I haven't had my say on the whole Harry Kane situation, and I suppose, look, Harry Kane talks will still continue, Harry Kane rumours will still be there, or whatever you want to call it. But my thing on it is this, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Now you actually see that he's available, it does kind of, just hear me out, it does kind of make you think, oh, Harry Kane, eh? Like, he's actually there. If you go and pay the money, you can actually get him. But I'm reluctant to think like that, and I'm steering myself away from thinking like that, because we've got other things to fix in this squad, guys. Like, we really do. Like, if he comes, if we put in 120 million bid for him and spent our whole transfer budget on that, we would have to sign ourselves up to, say, 100% Lindelof and Maguire again, but more importantly, 100% McTominay and Fred again. And then, and 100%, let's face it, because we're not going to get Kane and Sancho, and 100% not getting Jadon Sancho. And that worries me, man. Even when it was flipped the other way around, where we're in for Jadon Sancho for £80 million, £90 million, even that, I'm like, doesn't leave much else to play with in terms of to get some other players. But you could still do it if you. Have I gone the wrong way? No, I haven't. It's been so long. Nearly went the wrong way. Where was I? Oh yeah, because with the Sancho situation, spending 90, but you still got the Lingard situation there, Diogo Dalot, Pereira. You could probably raise another, you know what I mean, 70 odd million with those three players. So you could get Sancho plus a couple more. But if we get Harry Kane for like £120 million, that's a problem.
He'll be more than that.
Exactly, and he's going to be more than that. So that's like saying, forget all of the problems that we got in our squad, forget the fact that we can't control midfields, forget the fact that we concede stupid goals at the centre back, forget the fact that we can't play a high line because our centre back partnership doesn't allow for it. We'd have to say, forget all of that, and forget the fact we just begged Ederson Cavani to stay and got him to stay, and rightly so. Forget all of that and just put Harry Kane up front. Listen, if Harry Kane comes to Man United, he's going to score a shitload of goals. Like, he is. I have no, that's not my issue. My issue is that he can score goals even in a shit Tottenham team. He's still getting 25 goals a season. So I understand that. Like, he is guaranteed goals, but with the development of our squad, of what we want to win, we have to fix the CDM position. We've got to fix the midfield position. We have to. And I just think if we get Harry Kane, it will only be Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? Which is understandable because of the P's that he's going to cost. So I can't see it happening. I can't even see us. Well, actually, nah. In a weird, I can see us going for him. I can see us being in the conversation, because I think what will happen is Man United will be like, we just can't let a player like Harry Kane go. Because that's the other side of the argument that I am willing to discuss, to be fair. You know, like when you have your opinion on something, there's sometimes people were like, no, I don't care. No, I don't care. No, I'm not listening to that. I will listen to the other side of the argument, because it is valid. Like, and that is that if you get Harry Kane, though, Yeah, it might not be nice on Cavani or whatever you want to call it. If you put Harry Kane at number 9 for Man United, even in this squad, he's going to get 25, 30 goals. Like he is. And probably double figures assists or whatever he wants to do. Because he's that good. He would make our forward line unbelievable. Greenwood, Rashford, Kane. Martial, Greenwood, Kane. Like, it's a very nuts front three with Paul Pogba in and around it with Bruno. It is insane going forward. But I still think for large periods, as you've seen with when any good striker plays, they can't do it all on their own. Haaland, if you don't get him the ball, he's not going to be effective. And if we can't control games in midfield and give Harry Kane chances, which he definitely will take, but if we can't consistently provide them for him, then there's no point spending 150 million. I see Harry Kane as the kind of cherry on top. What do you call it? Cherry on top of the icing, or the icing on the cake, or whatever. You know, the final piece. You know, when you finish making the cocktail and you put the little umbrella in. He's the umbrella. I don't even think that's a real term. I just made it up. But you lot get what I'm saying. He's the umbrella in the cocktail at the end, or with all the little cocktail stick with the cherry on it. But you get what I'm saying. He's that, because if we had if he went to City, or if he goes Chelsea, rap. Like, that's all they're missing. But with us, we've got so many different things that we need to sort out that are a matter of urgency. Like, I don't think it matters who plays up front. If we don't fix that midfield, we're always going to have McTominay and Fred who make mistakes, who are out of position, who don't do things in the correct way, who are not good enough to start every single game. Like even Roy Keane said, I agree 100%. We are not going to win any major trophies, i.e. the Premier League, Champions League. I agree with McTominay and Fred in midfield. It's just not going to happen. We need better. So unless there's a mad war chest that we don't know about where we can afford to get Harry Kane for between 120 and 150 million pounds, plus still get a centre mid, unless there's that kind of money going on, which, let's face it, that ain't what's going on here, I don't see how it's feasible to get him. If we do get him, it's tight. Obviously, we've got to be behind it, but I would just be like, shit, well, how are we going to perform? Because I don't think Harry Kane is enough to transform the way we play. Don't get me wrong, he will finish chances galore, and he, like I said, in a shit Tottenham team, he's still getting nearly 30 goals a season in all competitions. He's still getting that. And he's still getting that with the injuries he has. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Harry Kane even costing 120 million, 150 million pounds, because that is the level of striker that he is. It's just that in our level of development under Ollie of what we need, there's only so long we can keep not addressing the centre back and centre mid. Do you know what I'm saying? And keeping Cavani is the sole purpose. The sole purpose of keeping Cavani is to be able to go and address the other areas of the squad. And if we keep Cavani, then go and get Harry Kane, then we're putting Cavani on 200 whatever K a week he is. Harry Kane's going to be on, Jesus, he's going to be on 400K a week, easy, 350, right? On a big contract, right? For at least what he's going to sign. If whoever he signs for, he's what, 27. He'll probably get a 4-year deal, or 3 years of an extension for another year, probably something like that. So I don't know, man. I you know, as much as I'll be kind of excited if we get him, because he is an absolute bags man, and I always rated Harry Kane. I've never been in this camp of, you know, but he gets too many injuries. Fuck that. With this same injury record that we're saying that he's got, he's managed to get pretty much 20 goals plus every season. Like, he's a top world-class striker, even with missing 8 weeks of the season. So maybe he could do a Van Persie and then, you know, go injury-free. You never know. But anyway, I just, you know, as much as I'm excited about the prospect of him playing in our team, I just don't think it will be enough to bridge the gap to City and stuff, because with our midfield as it is, even if we added Haaland to it, or Mbappe in the 9, or like we're talking about Kane at number 9, it doesn't matter. We still got McTominay and Fred midfield. You still got Lindelof and Maguire at the back who can't play a high line because pacing behind them ruins them. We still need a centre half and CDM and arguably another right winger. So yeah, I don't know, man. Where I stand on it is this: I would prefer we spent that money elsewhere. If you're telling me I could get, and I'm only saying this because this is the names that we always talk about as default, I can get Declan Rice and Jadon Sancho, or Declan Rice and Varane or Sancho and Varane, I'm taking that all day over just Harry Kane. Me personally. A proper CDM, even if it's not Declan Rice, because I don't think it will be, even if they unearth a gem, but if just address the issue and get a starting CDM who is very good. Don't necessarily have to know who it is. Like I always say, that's not our job. We're not scouts. But invest. If it's Basuma, it's Basuma, whatever. But go and invest in that area of the pitch along with a centre-back. I would take that, you know, with some money spare for a backup right-back to bolster the squad over getting Harry Kane for £120 million. Because £120 million slash £150 million, which he might cost, is all we have. We basically got 100 mil to spend, but we've got Jesse to sell, hopefully Pereira, and potentially Dallo to sell. So all in all, if you sell them players plus what we got to spend, we probably have got about 150 million to spend. We are definitely in on Sancho, 100% in on Sancho. So, you know, that's going to be what, 75 plus installments, or if they want their 90 straight up, then we might have to pay the 90 straight up. Then you're left with what, the best part of 50 million to spend. So, or 40 million. I don't know, man. But I just think we need to focus on them priorities. So that's my thing on the Harry Kane thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. On today's game, though, to finish off, I'm excited. For me, I want to see. It's important that we win 100%. And as you can see with the West Brom game against Liverpool, just because these teams are relegated already, they're still, you know, they're still a Premier League team as it stands. You know, they've officially been relegated, but they've got fixtures to fulfill. And a lot of them are going to be like, this is my last experience. I don't know when I'm going to be back in the Premier League. So I'm going to play my heart out. It's not just an easy go and roll these teams over, as we've seen with Liverpool and a couple of other results. These teams are still difficult to beat. I would like to see us go with our strongest team. You know, it was a real sickener against Liverpool on Thursday. It was an awful performance. But those guys need to pick themselves up so they don't get blues going into the final. The Wolves game is 3 days before the final, so for me, you almost play the same team that played against Leicester on that last day of the season, and you rest everyone. But today, which is why I'm quite excited that I'm actually going to the game, because I think he will go strong. He needs those players to keep ticking over, get a little bit of form going into it, because you don't want them players going into it cold. And I think because that game is 3 days before the final, you don't really want to be starting that team. If it was a week before the final, I would have said, yeah, you know what, play a few of the big boys. But even so, if your next game is a final, you keep everyone away from the pitch. You keep everyone who you've got in your starting lineup away from that pitch, in my opinion. And I hope Solskjaer doesn't mess about with that on the last day against Fulham, so against Wolves. So, but for today, go strong. Who am I looking to see? I want to see Cavani start. I want to see Cavani, Rashford on the left, Greenwood on the right. Rashford needs to go back to the left. Against Fulham, again, no disrespect, but you know, we should be able to play Paul Pogba and Fred or McTominay, or Matic and Pogba. I don't mind. That should be good enough for this game. And I'll play the same back four. Actually, Maguire's still injured, so I'd go with actually Tuanzebe and Lindelof can play. I wouldn't mind that. Give Eric Bailly a rest. We're going to need him for the final. So I'd play Tuanzebe and Lindelof. Obviously, Luke Shaw right back, Luke Shaw left back, Wan-Bissaka in a right back, and the keeper, I'd keep David De Gea in. No, actually, wait, Dean Henderson's playing. So I'd play Dean Henderson in this game, and then I'll probably play David De Gea just to give him a. Would I even do that, or would I just not play him to the final? Nah, because it'd be rusty. But the keeper, imagine he pulls his. I'll play David De Gea today and Dean Henderson last game of the season. That's what I'd do. So that's my team. That's my 1 to 11. Score prediction: Man United always find a way to concede. You know, I'm not taking it lightly that it's Fulham and they're already relegated. So I'm going to go 3-1. And also, another reason why we need to win is to just cement second place. If we lose today, which I can't see that happening, but you never know, and you know, Chelsea or Leicester win, then it, you know, especially if Leicester win, which would be a big ask for them, but you never know. You know, just puts that second place in doubt. You know what I mean? Against Wolves, we're going to have to make a lot of changes, so anything can happen in that game. Could easily lose that game. You know, because I think Solskjaer will go down the route of what he done in Europe against Leicester. Have to play that team. So I don't want to be going into the Wolves game needing anything to get second place. I think if we win today and results go our way, well, someone's dropping points out of Leicester and Chelsea. Hopefully it's a draw. That'll help us the best. Then we'll be fine for second place. So I want to see us finish the season positively. And you know what? we're there as fans. The fans are there, man. Give us something to cheer about. It was so refreshing seeing. I watched the Championship playoff semi-finals yesterday. I watched Brentford Bournemouth and I watched Barnsley Swansea, and it was just nice to hear the fans in there. Obviously, hearing the FA Cup fans in there on the final as well. It was just nice to hear the fans. So it'd be nice if we can get a good positive performance, get some goals in as well. And that's why I'm expecting a bit of a push from the players in terms of scoring at least 3 goals, because I think they'll be up for it. First time we're back in the stadium in over 12, 13, 14 months. So anyway, I'm out of here. I'm going to be giving you guys some behind the scenes access as well. Hopefully we'll see if we can go live on Instagram from inside the stadium as well, because I think there's only going to be 10,000 people there as well. The fan forum is still running, and we'll see what match reactions we get. Obviously with COVID and different restrictions and fans needed to be moved on, we'll see what we get, but you'll definitely get a match reaction from me. And I will see you at fan cam time. Peace. Big thank you to you guys for watching the latest of our videos, and if you want to check out more, make sure you do that just to the right of me. We are the biggest and best Manchester United channel in the world. Make sure you check us out on all of the socials as well: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. The socials are along the bottom. Peace.